Good evening, everyone. I made this short presentation on overcoming present challenges in shipping. And this is purely based on my understanding about the subject. Dear friend, till December 19, everything was normal. Logistics, shipping, everything was normal. Exporters and importers were doing good business, and economy was also booming. But after December 1919, things have started changing. And pandemic, which we could not have thought, and which has really devastated the whole country, the whole world. We have never thought during that time that it will also impact, besides human life, the logistics. In fact, I'm into this industry since last 37 years, and I'm handling logistics, and I'm also teaching at many institutes. But what I have learned in this 1.5 years, I'll tell you, I could not learn in my earlier 35 years of career. So logistics and shipping is such a challenging area where you have to face challenges every day. Those who are already into field of import, export, and the logistics, they may definitely accept it. But the challenges today, what we have, are totally different. Unless you really think out of the box, then and only you can find out the solutions. So I'll just first try to explain what are the challenges today due to this pandemic, and then reasons for the challenges, and then how to overcome these challenges. No doubt, it may depend on the individual organizations' resources availability, but I'm sure when you will go back home, you will have one or the two important parameters which, if you can really apply in practice, I'm 100% sure that you are going to gain out of it. So friends, after December 1919, till today, these are the biggest challenges what every exporter and importer are facing. Number one is erratic shipping schedules. There are two types of shipping services, liner and tramp. Liner tramp is basically related to the containerized types of ships, and tramp is related to the bulk and deadweight ship. In liner type of shipping, like container types of ships, there used to be fixed day arrival and fixed day departure. But today, it is really irrelevant. Although containerized shipping is a liner type of shipping services, but today you really do not know when the vessel will come, when the vessel will arrive, and the vessel will depart. So today I can't plan because there is a really erratic shipping schedules for arrival of vessel and for departure of the vessel. So I can't commit to my customer when the goods will be delivered, and I myself is not sure if I'm an importer when the goods will be received in my organization. Next is skipping of ports of call. When I have loaded one container on ship for a particular destination, let's say we go in Spain, it has to follow some route. But surprisingly, I really get really surprised that my container has gone to Singapore. From Singapore, it is going to Vigo. Generally, it takes about 30 days, but it has taken about 45 to 50 days. The reason being that the shipping lines are skipping ports of call, they are changing their route. They just inform you, but they inform you at a later stage. So really, you do not know once you load your container on a ship, when it will reach the destination and how it will go and by which route it will go. So this is the second challenge which we are facing, that it is skipping the ports of call. Non-availability of container at inland container depot. ICD is a dry port located closer to the exporters and importers. In Ahmedabad, there is a ICD Khodiar. These are a dry port connected by rail and road to the main gateway port. Generally, we used to get containers at ICD because doing shipment through ICD is very comfortable because the port is closer to your organization. But today there is a big challenge. You don't get containers at ICD, a dry port, and then you might have to pick up container from the main gateway port, either from Nhava Sheva port or Mundra port, depending on the location of your manufacturing organization. The next very important point is a drastic increase in ocean freight. In fact, again, I am repeating that in my career, I have not seen the prices of ocean freight which are really going up, really touching the sky. I remember I have paid $350 to $400 for a base port in Europe like Antwerp, Rotterdam, and Hamburg. Today, I'm not getting a container 10 times the freight, that is $3,500. USA freight is about $5,000 to $7,000. Mexico is about $8,000 to $9,000. So you really name the port, and the freight rates have gone up like anything. And we really do not know the shipping lines are levying so many charges. Next is delay in arrival and departure of vessel. As I've explained to you, since the schedule is erratic, so there is a delay in arrival and departure of the vessel. Reduced number of frequencies. See, because the disturbance in the arrival and departure, the number of frequencies reduced. Earlier, there used to be weekly sailings for USA, Europe, and all major ports. So the number of lines operating from the main gateway port, Nhava Sheva and Mundra port, were more. But today, what has happened, because of this disturbed schedule, suppose the vessel is coming this Sunday, I really do not know whether the vessel will come next Sunday. I might have to wait for another 15 days or 21 days. In shipping, there is a concept of 1 hour delay is equivalent to 7 days delay. But today, if you miss out a vessel, you at least lose 14 days to 21 days because the frequency is uncertain. Another major problem, what we are facing today, exporters, are damaged container inventory. I'm really sorry to say some of the shipping line persons also may be attending this webinar. In fact, earlier, I used to get containers, damaged containers from a Maersk line. I'm naming the shipping line. But today, whenever I get a container, out of 5 containers, 2 containers are damaged containers. It clearly shows that the shipping line wants to get rid of the containers. And the condition of the containers is so bad today that it is actually worth of scrapping the container. But as an exporter, I have to face this challenge. I have planned for schedule for the exports on a day, but suddenly when I pick up a container from the ICD, I found that the container is in damage, and I got a call from my office that we can't, this container cannot be planned because this container is a damaged container. So this is another issue. Next is reduced number of free days at loading port and destination port. See, shipping line gives you free days at loading port 5 to 7 days, but now they have reduced the free days. Why? Because they want to make turnaround very faster. So this has resulted into increase in the detention charges to be paid to the shipping line. DO cancellation fees. This I have never expected from the shipping lines, which I'm expecting it today. DO can pick up a DO and suddenly I cancel it. Now, besides these charges, the shipping lines are putting many charges, which really every day I get message and there are different charges, like charges like EIS, equipment shortage surcharge, equipment insurance surcharge, then you have a congestion surcharge, then you have a flexi tank surcharge. There are many charges which they really try to find out and increase the freight. And as an exporter, there is no such lobby that which can go, and in fact, the government is also trying to see to it, but it's really sorry to say that we are, as an exporter, at the mercy of the shipping line. And we never know when this is going to end. So friends, these are the present challenges in the shipping which we are facing. Now I'll tell you why these challenges are there. It is not that I am only blaming the shipping line, and why the shipping lines also have come to this conclusion. See, the last point I want to stress very well that the major reason for increasing the freight is basically like a monopolizing the situation. Very limited shipping line options due to mergers and acquisitions. See, in good olden days, about 3 to 4 years back, there were this major 12 shipping lines. Okay, all of you must have dealt with them individually. But since last 3 to 4 years, there is a mergers in the shipping line. So instead of 12 major shipping lines, now you have option of only 6 shipping lines. So if I have to export, I have option of only these 6 major lines. I can say these are global carriers. So instead of 12, now I can't go, if I don't get a container, I can't go from the market and pick up a container. In fact, these 6 shipping companies are really controlling the market, global market. And you can imagine, exporters have no choice, importers have no choice. Because if you really want to sustain and be there in the market, you have to choose. And it is not that like any day, any company shipping company can come and then they can set up their business. It's going to take a time. So this is the major reason behind that the freight rates are being controlled, or rather being controlled by these shipping lines. And because of this monopolistic competition, the freight rates are rising. Now, what are the reasons for these challenges in shipping? Why this is happening? The major reason is imbalance between inbound and outbound cargo. So this is very important. See, shipping is very difficult. Why it is difficult? Because see, it all depends on the inventory of containers. That is 20 feet and 40 feet containers. Generally what happens, if there is a balanced trade in any country, imports is almost equivalent to exports. So what happens? Whatever containers come in, the same containers are being exported with the stuffed product of exports. But now there is an uncertainty. And because of this pandemic, a lot of countries are having a lockdown. First lockdown, second lockdown, third lockdown. Like our country has really faced a really bad time in last 2-3 months. And it was one of the worst way, so which no people have expected. So what has happened? These things disturb the whole scenario in the industry, and it also affect the export-import trade, and so many things that disturb. So there is an imbalance between the inbound and the outbound cargo. Before December 19, everything worldwide, everything was being balanced and the movement was in flow. Next is slow operation at port in USA, Europe, and other ports due to COVID-19. See, these countries are really sensitive countries. Like in India, we are really thankful to the government that not a single day any port was shut down. The export-import business was being considered an essential, and there was not much impact on the EXIM trade. But in these countries, there is no manpower to control the operations. So what has happened? The vessels are waiting for more than a week, more than 10 days at west coast of USA, Europe, because there is no manpower to discharge the containers from the vessel, no manpower to move the containers in terminals, and there is also a problem related to delivery. So because of that, what has happened? The containers are blocked in some of the destinations. Okay, the inventory turnaround is less. Next is during slowdown in China, container manufacturers shut down manufacturing of containers, leading to acute shortage of containers. See, before the pandemic, there was a slowdown in China. So China has thought, when there is a slowdown, let us not manufacture containers, because maximum containers are manufactured in, empty containers are manufactured in China. So suddenly they have stopped manufacturing. And now what has happened? Suddenly there is a demand of the containers. So this has also led to shortage of containers. Next point is heavy congestion at transshipment port. See, what is a transshipment port? Suppose if I have to send goods from JNPT to Australia, there is no direct vessel to Australia. So what I have to do? I have to send from JNPT to Singapore. My container will be offloaded at transshipment port. From transshipment port, it will be loaded on the next vessel for the other port. So what has happened? Because of this, the major transshipment ports like Singapore, Hamburg, Rotterdam, New York, these are major transshipment port, global transshipment port. So there is a heavy congestion. So when there is a heavy congestion, there is a traffic jam. So when there is a traffic jam and then these containers are not loaded on the ships, so the containers are lying at transshipment port for a longer period of time. Heavy demand of containers at China and Far East countries for westbound traffic. See, another thing what has happened, we all know that China is a low-cost manufacturing country and it is really supplying goods to all over the world. Most of the exports are taking place to Europe and USA are from China because they are low-cost manufacturing. So there is a sudden demand and we all are aware, I do not want to comment, but China was the first country who came out of this mess as fast as possible. So when they came out of this, they have started manufacturing, they've increased their manufacturing activities, and suddenly there is a boost in their export. So they needed inventory. So they were, in fact, everything was getting escalated because people wanted a source of supply. So they thought this is the only source of supply. No doubt initially there was some ban and so many things were happening. But people have to now depend on China, and that is the reason there is a demand for containers in China. Reduce economic activities from April to June. See, from April to June 20, almost everything was shut, at least in our country. Okay, no doubt export-import activities are on, but other activities were shut. So what has happened because of this? No imports were being discharged, okay, because the industries were having some problems. And another reason is that sudden shot up in export from July over 20 August. Now you must have seen the latest report that there is an increase in exports, which is around $32 billion in last month, and which is the export has increased by 67%. Now what has happened? Suddenly there is a shot up in the exports. There is a demand for goods, and when you have more exports than the imports, then suddenly there is a shortage of containers. Longer turnaround of ships. Why there is a longer turnaround of ships? Because when there is a delay in arrival, departure of vessel, congestion at the port, so definitely the turnaround of the ship for a longest destination like Mexico. Earlier used to be, if I had to send good container from JNPT to Mexico, the transit time used to be about 55 to 60 days. But now today the country is not reaching less than 80 to 90 days. Why? Because the turnaround has increased. Transshipments have increased. There are so many other problems. High shipping costs. Now, because of this, the shipping cost has increased because the freight rates are really skyrocketing and exporters have no choice but to either you export or it is better to sit idle and then concentrate on the domestic market. Now, how to overcome this challenge? See, dear friend, this is based on my experience in the last 1.5 years, and I have implemented this in my organization and it really worked. So this solutions which I have come across is based on my own understanding and based on my earlier experience which I had, and I can't control the situation totally, but at least I can see that how I can overcome it so that I should be in the export business. Advanced planning. This is very, very important. Dear friend, if you want, you can really note down this point because these are going to help your organization. See, everybody knows crisis. So I've given you the reasons of crisis, the challenges, but these are the real solutions. And I'm sure 100% you also may be using these solutions, but these are really going to help you. Now, what is advanced planning? See, advanced planning means logistics is such an area where you need a backward planning. What is backward planning? Backward planning means suppose the customer need material, the delivery date at the customer's manufacturing unit, let's say in France, Eugene, France is about 15th of August, delivery date. Now the customer is very specific. So when the date is 15th of August, I have to calculate backward that when should I dispatch containers from my factory in Ahmedabad so that he can receive the goods in 15th of August. 15th of August, we have already in India, but the European customer is working on 15th of August. So earlier, if I used to presume that the transit time from Ahmedabad to Eugene, France, maybe about 40-45 days. Now I have to do some advanced planning. And I have to consider that I have to dispatch from my factory at least 60 days before so that I have a margin. So in short, when I say advanced planning, you have to keep a margin in multiples of 7 days because if there is a delay. So now you have to keep margin of at least 21 days. 21 days margin means, suppose if I have to deliver a customer, I have to ensure that I dispatch my consignment, go backward planning, manufacture my consignment, source my consignment at least 14 to 21 days in advance so that I don't default in the delivery. This is also known as backward planning. Next is request customer to accept split shipments. See, generally there are LCs. In LC, there is a condition that partial shipment not allowed. Dear friend, today it is very difficult to get a container, single container. So how can I get, suppose there is 100 ton, 5 containers in one lot. How can I get 5 containers from one shipping line? Literally, I have to really back for the container from the shipping line today. So you have to tell customers, please amend this clause in the LC and accept in split lots. We will try our level best to give you the major lots, but try to accept it in a split shipment. Keep all customers informed about the current shipping scenario. This is very, very important. See what happens, the customer knows, but he's relaxed. So you have to educate your customer that I'm planning, but it is better you also plan. You also give me some buffer time to manufacture, to ship the goods. So if you want to educate them, try to send them some messages. Nowadays, you get a lot of the WhatsApp messages. You have to have a relationship with the shipping line. So you get such messages from them. So just keep on sending them. What has happened? What the things are happening? Review the old orders and contracts and Incoterms. Review the old orders. See, if possible, when the freight rates are going up, you can tell your customer that it's really not becoming reasonable for us because the shipping cost is increasing. If you can bear, you can curtail on your margin, it is fine. Otherwise, you can review the contract and orders and the Incoterms. Now, how Incoterms to be changed? Incoterms are the international trade terms or delivery terms. Suppose the customer has given you order for CFR, cost and freight. In case of cost and freight, suppose you are importing, okay? If you are importing in cost and freight basis. Now, in case of cost and freight basis, it is the responsibility of the shipper, rather the exporter, to arrange for the containers, and he has to pay the freight. But now he says, I can't dispatch because I am not getting containers. So you can tell him that you make it FOB, free on board, and you take the responsibility of to arrange for the containers from the shipping lines. Now you can deal with the shipping lines. You have a contract with them, and then you can negotiate the freight. So you may save on cost as well as you are confident of getting the delivery. Next very important point is that avoid overcommitment. Don't overcommit. It is always, remember in life, it is better undercommit, overperform, rather than overcommit, underperform. If you want to really be successful in logistics and shipping, your funda should be there. Don't commit, overcommit, because in logistics and shipping, anything can happen anytime. So undercommit, overperform, or don't be overcommit and underperform, because management has got some expectations from you. Next point is understanding commercial geography and major routes. This is very, very important. AMA has designed the shipping and logistics course. Now they are coming up with the shipping and logistics course. It has already been announced. Now we will be covering such topics. I have been covering this shipping and logistics in AMA since last more than 10 years. So AMA is the only institute which has got the way of the syllabus has been designed in such a way that even at doing a level, he can understand. And if he is a beginner in the exporter and importer, he can understand this concepts, and then it is going to help. I'll tell you one thing. I have been teaching this major sea routes. I've been covering this in shipping and logistics last 8 to 10 years. And I have got call from these participants because there was a major mishap in March 21 in Suez Canal. One Ever Given ship got stuck and the whole shipping schedules got disturbed. So they have been able to link it because they know what is Suez Canal. So understanding and what is going to be the impact, why the transit time will increase. So all these things you have to understand the geography, understand the major sea routes, which is important. Split the business with multiple shipping lines. When I say multiple shipping lines, I'm really sorry to say multiple means only 6 shipping lines. You have to go with the bagging ball and literally bag the containers from all these 6 shipping lines. It's really sad. It's really sad. Book containers inventory in advance. Convert big lot of containers import in bulk breakable shipments. Bulk breakable shipments, what has happened here? Suppose if you are importing 2,000 ton in one lot or 4,000 ton in one lot. Now it is very challenging to get this much containers. The shipper is not able to get the containers. So suppose you have to import raw material. You tell the supplier that please try to convert it into bulk and breakable lot. Send the consignment if it is a powder form in jumbo bags, and then send it in bulk breakable shipments where the containers are not required. And the freight rates are also less compared to the really less compared to the containerized type of cargo. In fact, I have tried this and it really worked very well. And this is how you have to really convert your thinking and change the packaging, and so many things, some innovation active things can be done. Look out for alternate ports. This is very important. Suppose your customer is in Spain, inland destination in Spain. Earlier you have been sending to him, the name of the port is, let's say, Bilbao. Bilbao is in the Spanish port. Now Bilbao, there is a transshipment port. But the transportation cost from Bilbao to that customer is, let's say, $500. Now I have to look out a vessel which is like a direct vessel, which I have given here, preferred direct vessel. So what I have done, I have selected, these are two, combining these two answers. I have selected a port which is a direct vessel from JNP to Barcelona, and from Barcelona, no doubt the trucking cost is increased by $100. So what I have done, I've changed the port. I have to see to it that if there is a congestion at this port, let us change the port in the same country or the neighboring country, provided they have a good relationship. It is not necessary that if I'm exporting to some customer that I need not have to stick to that port. I can change the port. No doubt there will be change in the logistics cost. So I will have to do this working and understanding. Next is prefer direct vessel without transshipment. Suppose I have one customer, so I have to look out that which are the places wherever possible I should choose a direct vessel. Now the biggest advantage of choosing a direct vessel is that once my container is loaded on ship, the vessel is going to stop at the last station or rather the port. So the transshipment point can be avoided and the delay can be avoided. Last but not the least, tie up with the knowledge partners. Dear friend, I have been always telling people in shipping and logistics or the exporters and importers, always deal with the professional people. Don't worry about the cost. And these knowledge partners are guiding you. See, we should deal with the person who can be a guide. It is not that I can say that I have 37 years of experience in shipping, so I know everything. No, sorry. I have to learn shipping from the shipping lines people. And those stalwart people, they are guiding me, sir, isko aisa kar lo, isko aisa kar lo. So try to take advice from them, try to understand solution from that, but provided they have to be professional. If they themselves are not knowledgeable, how they are going to impart the knowledge? So selection of vendor in shipping and logistics is very, very important. And if it has been proved in this 1.5 years that it is not cost which is important, it is the relationship which is important, and it is the selection of vendor which is important in shipping and logistics. Dear friend, with this, I'm closing the session because this PPT I have specially prepared for it, and I have tried my level best to explain this challenges, reasons, and how to overcome these challenges. Now, if you have any query, please come out. And I know you must be having a lot of pains, but I'll try to give you a solution. Besides this, if anyone is having a specific problem, I will try my level best. Okay. Yes, Mr. Ramurthy, I've done with the topic.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Manju, sir.